Hi, I'm Louisa Sijabat, a liquidator and bankruptcy trustee. Today I'd like to give an update of a couple of things I've seen as a liquidator and bankruptcy trustee in the last few weeks. For anyone watching this in the future, this is filmed in mid-October 2021 as Sydney is emerging from its lockdown. So, firstly, I'm seeing that there's a number of businesses who don't want to trade beyond the end of lockdown. This is usually because they don't have the financial resources to enable them to do that. There's also a perception by the directors of these companies that once once Sydney emerges from lockdown, that certain creditors might chase them harder for the payment of the debts that are owed, and they know their businesses don't have the capacity to pay those debts. So they were happy to trade to the end of lockdown. In many cases, they might have been eligible for government relief. Even though the government relief wasn't plentiful, it did assist in some way. And now they don't want to trade insolvent and they want to wrap up their companies, or they know that they have debts they can't pay and they wish to enter into bankruptcy at this point. So we have actually seen quite an influx of inquiries as well as bankruptcies and liquidations in the lead up to exiting lockdown. And I expect this will continue for a few weeks after or as Sydney transitions out of lockdown as well. The second thing is in relation to the ATO and tax debt. So in a recent ATO presentation to a number of members of the insolvency industry, the ATO mentioned that while they didn't engage in firmer action through much of 2020, they did start to engage in firmer action in about April 2021, and that this is ongoing. So the message that I take out of that when I speak to directors and people with tax debts, where either they have the tax debt in the company or in a trust or personally, is to get on top of your tax debt. And even if you can't pay it all, to engage with the ATO. That was the theme that was coming through. Engage with them. Try and set up a payment plan that's acceptable to the ATO and something that is as sustainable as possible for your business. Also, the ATO was saying even if you can't pay the tax debt, make sure you get your lodgements in, which is something I would support as well, because that will affect things like potential director penalty notices. That's a whole video in itself, so please go see that video if that concerns you, or contact us. So there are a couple of things I've seen. Hope they're helpful as people try and sort their situations out as we exit lockdown.